do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
They changed the name of the high school and all James Woods can say is, ooh, a piece of candy. 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 When a Bowen turned into a vampire, all James Woods could say was, ooh, a piece of candy. 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 When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said, ooh, a piece of candy. 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 And you know that James Woods practices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 When they know that he's next to the best of them all, when he says, ooh, a piece of candy. 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 Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him come a saying, ooh, a piece of candy. 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 And you know that James Woods practices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 Ooh, a piece of candy.
Fucking thing sucks.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday night. It is ExtraBulla Live. I'm your host, Uncle Warren. Apparently, we got some titties on this show coming up with somebody. You're like, wait, what? What the hell? Is Lucy doing a striptease? No, it's not Lucy. Oh, no, I'm kidding. I do have some man boobs, so I wore a shirt so my, my nippies come out. So we were cutting up for the show, and it's gonna be a fun one tonight, folks. I think you're gonna have a good time. Let me shout out everybody that's here. We got Desert Mantis in the house. What's up, buddy? We got Miguel. The Miguel 5000 quantum computer is online. Noli D, of course, with her church mouth there. Happy fuck it. Yeah, thank you, Noli there. We'll see you Sunday at the pulpit, right? Peace Doves here. Good to see you. Of course, Ed Heller in the house. And I'm sure some other folks are going to be coming in shortly. So we look forward to that. But let's not look at my breasts. Let's bring in Tits McGee, everybody. Be sure to tip your waiters and waitresses. What's up, Lucy? How you doing, doll? And we can't hear you. What did you do? Oh my God. We're going to sit here and watch you while you do your thing. Whatever you did last time. Hang on a second. Why don't you get out of it again? Why don't you get out of it again and then try it again, okay? We do it live, folks. Let me see where she is here. Yeah, this happened a few minutes ago. She had to go take the dogs out, and
Can you hear me now?
see, you messed up the whole titty bit. You know, we were gonna do the titty bit, and then you're like, you're doing your best Marcel imitation over there. No, I'm kidding. How are you, sweetie? How's it going?
I'm all right. How is Chicago?
It's still here. It was we had a few hot days here. It got up in the 90s. I mean, not like out west. My God, those people. Like you heard about like Arizona, they had like their 100th straight day of 100-degree weather. Can you imagine that in New York?
I don't like the desert that much. I don't like living in desert.
Well, apparently neither do they when it's 114 degrees. You know, that's usually not a thing for anybody unless you were born on the sun or something like that. So,
Yeah.
no, Chicago's fine. It's good times here. The food's good. Probably a little too good. Oh, got a little food baby down here. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Deep dish.
what about you? How's the food there? How's New York?
It's all right. Same old. Nothing new. I quit Twitter, all my social media,
Yeah.
because I have like very low patience and tolerance, I realize. So I gotta quit things because I don't like talking to people. Then I become very antisocial. So it's weird because I like talking to people, but then I have to like cut, and it's not their fault. It's like really me. I have like antisocial tendencies. So, or should I say I need like time alone, big long breaks, you know. So
I think it's healthy to have to break from social media because there's so much just insane garbage on there. I mean, there's good little bits of good stuff in there, but it's mostly just caustic, just trifling trash. Especially with all this politics and stuff going on, right? You know, with these elections that nobody with a brain in their head actually gives a shit about because we know electoral politics on the national level is stupid. But you actually ran for office, right? And it was a very interesting way you did it. You want to tell us about that?
yeah, so I did something crazy, which I mean, I had kind of the idea to do this like way before, but to run as a write-in because like I realized that running it as part of a party, well, the Democratic Party's out, but even if you try to run as part of a third party, it's like kind of hard because a lot of these third parties don't really like, you know, maybe they'll have like one candidate for some random position in New Jersey, for example. Like I know that there's like a Green that's like running in New Jersey, but there wasn't like any party running here. Does that make sense? So I was just like, how are people going to run independent? I don't even understand. Nobody's running independent. Like nobody was running independent in this area. So I was like, okay, right in, right? And of course, like, you know, they didn't respect my campaign was like totally bootleg in the sense, you know, it was just like me with a bunch of flyers, like that was it. You know? And then like a couple of people helped me you know, distribute flyers, but like that was it. That was the campaign. But I thought it was nice because first of all, like I realized like you don't have to do any of this on Twitter. First of all, if you feel like being like fuck Twitter, but you probably still need a little bit of help from people online, like in order to source or something.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we did, which was really funny, is that we hopped onto the Democrat call system. And we used their call system for our campaign.
How did you swing that?
We just pretended to volunteer, and then we made calls on their system.
You scammed the Democrats? That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's just because like I was like, two things could come of this. One, I'm probably going to lose, right? Second, I'm probably going to lose, but I am going to make them really paranoid in the process. Like I'm going to give them the so we all signed up to like volunteer. I didn't because I was like the person running, so I couldn't do it. But like a bunch of like actual like former DSA members and people that like used to be one of them, but like were pissed off. So they were like, okay, I'll do it, And then like more volunteers for us showed up for us to use their call system than volunteers for them showed up to use their call system, because I think there were like 15 people or something the first day, and like 10 of them were ours. It was like our people. So that's when I realized, like, yes, like AOC, like, yes, nationally she's like a big figure, but if people were like less apathetic about the whole thing, you could really, like, you could do it. You could kick one of these people out. Maybe not her, like, maybe one of the others, but these like DSA people, they're losing like nationwide. Cori Bush lost, Jamal Bowman lost, and even like Jonathan Soto, like, was like an assembly member that was running with AOC's endorsement in the Bronx. And we flyered the whole building with one of the flyers, like the reparations flyer. And AOC, I don't know if you know this, but she came out in like this magazine that was like where she was like avoiding the topic of reparations and stuff, and she was like, who is Black? This is like a very complex issue, blah blah blah. And it was just kind of like, like, what are you talking about? Like, who is Black? Not you, that's who's Black. So not you, not me, and not Uncle Warren, right? This is like very simple.
Hey, speak for yourself. All right.
Yeah.
Black don't crack. Listen.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that just speaks to like, the Bronx is a weird, it's a weird district there that she's in, right? Because it's like isn't it South Bronx, but then they're like part of Westchester in there. So I'm not quite sure.
It's not the South Bronx. It's the East Bronx and Queens.
Okay.
And I actually lived in Queens for a long time too. Not just in the Bronx, and I also lived in Manhattan. But like, I lived many years in her district on both sides, so that's why I was kind of like, oh, I know this district really well, right? Like, yeah, it's the East Bronx and Queens, and she's kind of falling through the cracks right now too, because like back when she was running, you know how she came out lately and she was like, oh, Jill Stein is predatory, or I don't know what bullshit she came up with. Well, back in the day, in 2018 when she ran, she ran on the Green New Deal for public housing. That was like her signature thing. Like nationwide, I think she ran on Medicare for all, but like locally, because I went to one of those events, she ran as the Green New Deal for public housing, which became the Green New Dump for public housing, because public housing is still a dump. Like nothing has changed. If anything, it's gotten worse. Yeah. And there's more people now. So
yeah, New York is a hot mess when it comes to housing. That's for sure. Because I remember when I was there, it was, I had friends that lived in public housing, and, it was just like lead paint still. They were using, and just a lot of crime around there. Not a lot, and a lot of that lends to like broken down infrastructure too, right? They have these. They made new housing, but it was like all the richies lived up top, and then the poors, your poors get to live on the bottom, but they have to go around the back door to go into the building. Have you heard that?
Well,
that's a true thing.
If only they had at least done that in this area, because they haven't even done that.
Right.
Really, it's like a disaster.
Well, a lot of
And
fires there too, because I remember like a couple years ago, that was a bad fire in the Bronx, right? It was at
yeah,
public
there's
housing.
also fires, like serious fires, especially on the Bronx side.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Queen side, there's like flooding, like very bad flooding, and
Yeah.
people drown in their basements and shit. Like this is not a joke.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and her Green New dump for public housing, which by the way was like a shallow copy of the Green Party's um, agenda or whatever. That it's kind of ironic that she lifted the whole thing off them and copied it very badly.
Not
She could have just
surprising.
said like, we need more housing without all of the green stuff, and not been such a hack and not been so disingenuous with the whole thing. I like weird, like I was dumb enough to support her in 2018, so that's on me. But I remember back when I did, like, I kind of noticed that the Green New dump wasn't going to work, that it seemed kind of like a green contract scam, which is exactly what it was. And the ironic thing is that, like, at the end of the day, because the buildings that get greened, they get gentrified more quickly. That's what happens, like, with these green contract shit. So it doesn't work at all. You need like a solution so that people can own their homes or have shares in, or have like some kind of power over where they live so they don't get evicted. Like this it has nothing to do with green anything. But
Right.
if you're gonna go that route and copy the Green Party, then you should have at least like tried to talk about having shares or like more housing co-ops or something like that. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. It's kind of like a corporate spin on the Green New Deal. It
Yeah.
didn't work.
Well, and New York has become like a rich person's playground now, like, right? Because like a lot of your old neighborhoods where people have been there for generations, they just got priced out because of gentrification, greedy landlords who knew that these new rich people could afford it, so they jumped the leases up. And yeah, and I look at I got a friend of mine who lived on the Lower East Side, and there's a lot of public housing there, but it is surrounded by gentrification, and it seems like they can't wait to get rid of the public housing and turn it into something gentrified too. It's pretty sad, because it just seems like it
Yeah.
loses the culture,
And not only that, like I feel like we keep settling for crumbs, and people are like, oh, like she came into the public housing and she was like, we could have great public housing. But I like, to me, that's like selling people short a little bit. It's like, how about we can have our own housing? Like, how about America used to be a place where people could eventually, at least, like have a chance of owning their homes. And now the best you can ask for is to slightly improve public housing, or like eventually have someone come and like clear your mold. It's just like our standards have become so low.
Yeah, black
Um,
mold is another issue in the public housing too, and it's bad. It's bad. A lot of people don't even know that it's happening too, and then they go to report it, and it takes forever for them to come up there and actually fix the stuff. But boy, if you break some rule or something, boy, they're Johnny on the spot, ready to try and throw you out too. So
right.
it's really ass backwards there. So, but I mean, like where you're at, you're in the Bronx now, right?
Yeah.
Like you when you were running, obviously you talked to like what I like to call real ass people, right? Not these fake like, oh, we should vote for AOC, the Stepford Wives people. I'm talking about the real ones that are in the neighborhood. I mean, what do they feel? What do they think about AOC?
Well, believe it or not, the majority of people in our district have no idea who she is. Like, people are so politically like disconnected. They don't watch everything. A lot of people don't vote. They don't know who she is. It got to a point where there was like that flyer that Jose Vega put up, the one with AOC's face and war. And
Mm-hmm.
I started putting up those flyers, but then I realized that a lot of people couldn't didn't know who she was, so it was just like going right over their heads, like, who is this? Like, war? I don't understand. So then, yeah, like I did this one. A lot of the people in some of the people in public housing, because you have to be, it's easier to qualify for actual public housing if you're an American citizen or resident. And she did pander hard in the public housing for that reason, because those people, not always, but in general, they can vote. It's hard if you're like an immigrant to get into public housing.
Yeah.
So, I put this in the public housing, and I said, and her green new dump for public housing didn't work at all. And I would like post it in like areas where there were like cracked windows and like stains on the walls, you know, like just like stuff like that. You know, I have more pictures of that, but like I didn't want to like overwhelm you, but yeah, like you know, it's pretty straightforward. And then this one I posted in Jonathan Soto's district, because what they do is they pander hard in Co-op City, which is like a majority African American. Actually, Co-op City, a lot of people own their apartments. So I would say it's like a little bit more middle class. But the Co-op City, like the thing is, it's like a little bit more middle class, but it's almost like it's like they wanted this neighborhood separate from the rest of New York City. It's like, that's how they built it. That's how it feels. I don't know if that makes sense.
No.
When you go there.
It makes sense. Yeah. Because to me, it just seems like the New York's going through a metamorphosis. Like I said, it's becoming a rich person's playground, right? I mean, they did the $15 an hour thing when it was too late. Really, it should have been 20 or 25, and you know, and now it's just like it's too late. It's like everybody's moving out, and if you go to Manhattan, you know our buddy Ricky Rance, you know, he's in New York.
Yeah.
And he was taking pictures. He said down there by over there by, oh shit, I can't remember. It's the 6th stop there. It's St. Mark's Place. There's a Starbucks there, gone. And Starbucks don't close, right? Because there's always shit libs that want their coffee, that expensive coffee, and it closed. And it started. He said Manhattan's starting to look like a ghost town because nobody can afford those leases and whatnot.
Yeah, people can't afford it, but like it's been happening for a long time. Like I lived in Manhattan in the 90s, and a lot of the people that lived there that ended up getting gentrified out ended up actually in Co-op City, because the landlord was like, okay, we're raising the rent here, but you have an opportunity here. And some people moved or, you know, forcefully got moved, whatever. Yeah, so it's been happening. It happens. It's been happening for a long time. It's just like when it happens to you, you know, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is what is this poster here? This is
so
for
this one. Okay, so this one, I know like there's like a lot of confusion about what an amnesty law is. A lot of people think that amnesty is like, oh, you know, anybody and anyone can come through the border. But what's happening in our area in general in New York City is that there are people that have had no path to citizenship that have been here for 30 fucking years. Mm-hmm. And when they talk about like immigration, you know, they're like, you know, no path to citizenship, go back. It's like, well, okay, it's one thing to go back.
Do not come.
If you just
do not come.
Yeah.
Do not. So just don't come. Don't come. Not on my face. Wait. What? Sorry. Oh, that was something else. But so
basically, like basically there was like a really I don't know if you did. I don't know if did you live in New York City back then, Warren, in the 90s, in the late 90s?
Nah, I was 2009 is when I moved there. So I was kind of late 90s, but it wasn't late 90s. It was early 2000s.
How long I've been there, how old I am. But anyway, like in the late 90s, a lot of Mexicans came to New York City because Mexicans that were not really in New York before then, not in large numbers, because of NAFTA and all of that, right?
Right.
So what ended up happening is that a lot of those people still have not had a path to citizenship. They came a long time ago. And now people are like, oh, we can't take any more immigration, send them back. It's like, well, are you going to send back the people that just arrived or the people that have been here for 30 years? And I distributed this flyer in the Bronx, like all the Mexican delis and in Queens. And the Mexicans rallied around this shit because I told them, I was like, that they're giving the Venezuelans work permits from one day to the next. Where's your work permit? And they were like, we have to do something. We have to do something. And some of them started calling AOC's office. So I know this shit works because, people are pissed at the Green New Dump. People are pissed at the fact that she has no Black agenda. People are pissed at the fact that she's opening the doors for Venezuelan immigrants and there's no path to citizenship for the people that have been here for 20 to 30 years. And so there's like an endless number of issues around which this whole campaign has, like, the whole progressive bullshit has completely failed. It's like they're not responsive to what people really need. So that's all there is to it.
Well, yeah, they said all this bullshit, and you said that you were fooled by AOC. A lot of us were, because she played that part very well. She has a talent agent. She's part of the CAA, so which I think that I find that very weird that politicians need talent agencies if they're not actors, right? It's kind of like a little too on the nose. You're a fucking actor. So, now this one, you have the indictment of Trump has been a gross misuse of the judicial system to eliminate the competition, but Republicans are not supporting free and fair elections either. Only an independent coalition can promote electoral reform. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically there's like certain parts of the Bronx, especially like along the water where, people love to put their American flag, depending on how patriotic you are, if you want an American flag. So I had a bunch of flyers with American flags, and then I just let the American flags guide me. Like anywhere where I saw an American flag, I would just leave an American flag flyer. That's it.
That's pretty smart. Yeah. Because they're drawn to it like blowflies to dog shit, man. I
feel like a lot of
America.
Yeah. And I'm like the older I get, the more I want to put in American. I think it's just kind of like you become more patriotic as you age or something. I don't know if that's like a thing, but
But Lucy, those flags are made
patriotic.
Those flags are made in China. I mean,
yeah.
So, which I love. They never mentioned that. And all these Republicans are like just got a real hard on for China right now. It's like, well, you better put away that flag because that was made in China there, Bubba. So how do you square that circle, right? This is my favorite. I love this one just because of here. Jamal Bowman and AOC voted to fund Israel and lied for Israel not once but twice. Fuck Jamal Bowman and his fucking alarm pulling ass, and fuck AOC too, and that couch that she sits on and talks bullshit. Right in, Lucien Canet. How you say your last name?
Dude, that's like my problem too. My complicated ass name. No one can write that in. It's like, no, it's because my granddaddy was French. My great granddad. There was one French person in the family, and it trickled down in my direction, basically.
Nice. Sacre bleu.
Yeah.
That has a certain je ne sais quoi. Yes. But I love that. That's just like, cause I mean, he was such an idiot pulling the fire alarm, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't pull the fire alarm." It's like, dude, they got it on video, pulling the fire alarm, and then he lost, and then what's her name? Who's it? Corey. Let's put on some music. Bush. when she did that thing with AOC and Franco was out there, Franco and what's his face, Colin, when they were like talking to them and they're like, hey, let's put out some music, and then the bitch lost. Oopsie sauce. It's called karma, hun.
Yeah, it's karma, like people were trying to defend Jamal Bowman because AIPAC was fundraising against him. Well, it's like if Jamal Bowman had actually tried to do something for his constituents. Jamal Bowman, by the way, he's always been the weakest link. If you ever see him in person, he's like, first of all, he thinks he's like the rapper of the progressive movement. He's always like,
that's like that. Oh, that's like that meme with Steve Buscemi, and he comes with the skateboard and he says, hello, fellow kids. That's what that seems like to me. It's like, no, dude, the 80s are way in the past. You can't be doing the, I mean, that shit, no.
Well, he does it. I thought at first it was a cheesy principle thing. He panders so hard. He like, and he puts a lot of muscle into it too. Like all the other progressives or whatever pander, like crazy, but Jamal Bowman like runs up and down the stage, rapping, and it's just like, okay, maybe that was his shtick, and I don't know if that's how. I think he thinks that that's how he got elected. I think he's sorely mistaken now that he lost.
Well,
in spite of all the singing.
He was the Flavor Flav of the progressives. All he was missing was that big clock. But yeah, it was. It's like people and like the people where you're at and people I know here and everywhere. We're just we wanted them to actually do something. Yeah, they didn't have a whole lot of numbers, but they had enough numbers to where they could block some of this bad shit going on, and they just went along with it. And then they wanted to come to us and say, well, you got to support us more. We got to get more people. What? More people like you? Fuck no. Wait a minute. Where's that thing? There it is. No, fuck Jamal. Fuck Jamal Bowman. Fuck AOC. Fuck Cori Bush. Fuck Ilhan Omar. Rashida Tlaib, at least she's trying to do something for Palestine, but she's pretty weak too. I mean,
she's very weak.
Yeah, they're very weak. I mean, what are they doing? They did nothing.
Well, they're fanning themselves. It's weird how they put like the whole Marie Antoinette thing on the ceasefire thing. Like, have you seen them fanning themselves with the ceasefire fans?
No.
What is that supposed to mean? Is this supposed to be like Beyonce or something? I don't even know. That's it. Well, they've just gotten to the point where they're just preaching to the cult that supports it. That's what she said. I support Joe Biden. Now she's supporting Kamala Harris and not calling him out on anything. It's just she's going the same route that Pelosi went. Because Pelosi at one point she was trying to get Medicare for all back in the 90s, and then fast forward a few liquor stores down the throat later, and she's like doing insider trading, and then we're capitalists to our liver, suckers. And that's where AOC's going too. It's the same playbook, and they keep wanting us to swallow this shit over and over again. And people have just had enough. They just had enough, and now it's just the cults that vote. I mean, I don't vote. I'm not voting for any of these people. Well, she actually had a lot of physical volunteers, but they were all in one neighborhood, Astoria.
Yeah, that's a very ethnic urban neighborhood there in Astoria.
Yeah.
What? No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, they all basically like descended around 32nd Street. I went by there and I saw a bunch of signs, and then I put my signs on her face, and then I just like walked away and avoided eye contact because there were a lot of them walking up and down Astoria. All the other places, it was like some of them, it was like they were literally like, oh, no one votes here, we're not going to bother. They'd put like one sign, and then they violate their campaign rules too. You know how you're not supposed to have a sign within 60 feet of the place. Well, all of AOC's signs were like right up in there, like, oh, this is the candidate, you must vote for her.
Yeah. And then if you actually complain about that, or like try to actually get, say, hey, look, this is not right, it's too late, the election's over, and then they're like, they might give a little slap on the wrist or something like that.
Right. Yeah. They didn't do anything. I think she spent $5 million. You think about this. Like, she spent $5 million on some local race against a no-name Zionist named Marty Dolan, who has like the charisma of a shortbread biscuit. These are good. Have you had these? Like Walker's
No
shortbread.
plugs.
These are my favorite.
No plugs, please. Okay, unless I get a cut of the revenue. No,
Oh,
I haven't.
no plugs.
No plugs. No plugs.
Okay.
Please. We
No, it's
have
not a plug. I just genuinely find them delicious.
we have sponsors, but they're not cookie sponsors, so you're fine. It's
Okay.
fine. And they're fake sponsors. They're not even real people. So just like the squad, they're fake people. They're not real people. They're just bought and paid for people, including AOC. And it's, I know people up in the Bronx and Queens in that area too, and it's heartbreaking because they had what's his face, Whitey McCracker, the guy before her. I don't know what his name was. I can't remember. But and he was doing nothing for him. So they're like, okay, maybe she can do. She's a little spitfire. Maybe she's got a little piss and vinegar there. And then it turns out she's just as bad as Whitey McCracker before her. Right? I mean, is it because of the way that district is made up, where there's like a shit ton of like rich shit libs in there, or how does that work?
Well, I feel like it's kind of a diverse district with like people of different income levels and everything. There's really everything here that you can imagine. But like, mostly it's like a working class area, but there's a little bit of everything. Like we also have, there's like a part of the Bronx that's really nice. That's like relatively wealthy in her district. Then there's like a more middle class area, and then there's also public housing. So I really like you really can't paint it with one brush stroke, really. Like I actually felt like she was a little bit, first of all, like I felt like her pandering kind of she made it sound like everybody in her district is Puerto Rican or something, honestly, like, AOC. And if you actually look at who helped her win, it was a very diverse coalition of people all over the country, first of all. Second of all, it was not just the Hispanic, Puerto Rican, or even Hispanic community, many of whom are not backing her anymore. Because all of the immigration stuff that she was talking about, first of all, she didn't follow through on it. Second of all, now she's like, pandering to the new immigrants over the people that voted for her. And then she got a lot of help actually from this lady. I don't remember what her name is, but she's Bengali, and she's the one that got a lot of the like the Bengalis are the biggest Muslim ethnicity, I guess, in our area. So you basically can't win without them.
You can't win that district without them, right? Yeah.
And AOC is actually under hot water because I don't even know how she won. Like, they said that I got 85 votes, which is very possible because my campaign was shitty. But I suspect that I got more because I don't know how many people were actually behind her after all of her bullshit. Like, I put pictures of her with Joe Biden. First of all, like, I went to every Yemeni deli in the Bronx, literally. They were turning turning away from her like crazy. And I went with that flyer to Little Egypt, and this is what it says. It says basically like the picture of AOC with Joe Biden and this guy Netanyahu with this guy from the UAE, who the Yemenis also hate because it says support us against the traitors and the child killers, and then it has AOC with Joe Biden and Netanyahu with this leader of the UAE, this guy's also a Zionist. The traitors, like as in like the Muslim traitors, the cowards. So here there's it says in Arabic, coward under AOC's name, traitor under this guy's name, and then the child killer under Netanyahu's name. So I put this everywhere, and people would be like, give me more, I'll distribute them. So like, you know, they went around, like the flyers, they went around, especially the Arabic ones, but also the ones in the Mexican delis and the ones in Co-op City. They like, I don't know how her campaign could not have seen them. And then I had this for the Bengali neighborhood. The Bengali neighborhood, I feel like I would not do this again without like somebody from the Bengali neighborhood doing it. Like we didn't have that many Bengalis, like, you know, but it says, it just explains the whole thing. I don't know if you know that Bangladesh does not normalize relations with Israel at all. So, but they're not like single issue voters on Palestine necessarily. You know, like sometimes they care about other stuff. There's also some this lady, the prime minister or something of Bangladesh,
they ran her out of town.
They ran her out of town very recently. So there, you know, there have been like protests recently in like little Bangladesh because they ran her out of town. And so like that's like a big issue for them. You know, but like in general, the Bengalis actually they have they also kind of I don't know that much about this issue, but it's like during the partition of India, like a lot of like people that were Muslim in India got pushed into Bangladesh, like what today is Bangladesh. Mm-hmm. So they even have like a whole like, you know, a protest. Like I've seen this where they'll be like stepping on the Indian flag. You know, they have like a thing with India. So I mean, there's a lot of like local issues also that like, you know, people aren't really paying attention to that, you know, but overall, like AOC definitely won with the help of this Bengali lady. And as I don't think that they support her anymore. So my question is, how is it that she is still winning locally?
That is a good question.
How is it that she's because those are the people that had like kind of like the institutional backing. I don't think that like I maybe some people just voted for her because they were like, you know, at one point she was like pandering and saying that she was pro-Palestine or something like this. So, you know, it's possible that a lot of people were just like not aware. But, and I remember I did hand out a flyer to like one of the Yemeni delis, and he was like, thanks for telling us. Cause like, I didn't know, because we gave her a lot of votes in White Plains, and I want to tell everybody. But my point is like, they are abandoning her. Like the Muslims especially are like abandoning, and there's a lot of them here. Like a lot.
Yeah. And this is this Chinese? Yeah,
this one's in Chinese. So I wanted to flyer the Chinese stores, Chinese restaurants, laundromat, lots of Chinese restaurant and laundromat, and I was like, and a lot of them don't speak English well, you know. So I was like, what am I gonna do here? I just asked a friend. I was like, make me a flyer, and this one just says peace with China. It doesn't say peace with China exactly. It says like peaceful relations, or I don't. It's something that sounds very beautiful.
And there's a huge Chinese community there in Queens, for sure.
Yeah, the biggest. There's a huge Chinese community. It's like the center of Chinese community. It's like Chinese and evangelical churches and Koreans.
Right.
I don't think Flushing is actually in our district, but we have Queens Village. Have you ever been to Queens Village? It's like
Yeah,
to the
but
left of Flushing.
yeah, no, but it turned out to be a gay bar I accidentally went into one time. So, but I don't think that's the same thing as what you're talking about. Where is that? Where in like?
It's like to the left of Flushing.
Okay.
Northern
The like
Queens.
industry was at Long Island. Where's it in relation to Long Island City?
It's not close because Long Island City is close to Manhattan.
So it's probably like more further north from Long Island
Yeah, it's
City.
like close to the Bronx. It's like if
Okay.
you just like swim across the water, you're in the Bronx. But
Right.
you're still in
Well,
Queens, so
wouldn't swim across that water, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I definitely do. Oof.
you end up in
Yikes.
Rikers. You go around LaGuardia or something, and then you
I
end
know.
up
Okay.
in Queens.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like when the Olympics with the French, the people when they had the swimming competitions in the Seine, in the river there, and everybody was getting sick because it's polluted. I'm like, yeah, I ain't crossing there. There's no telling how many dead bodies are in that water. So, but this is my favorite one, Lucy. You know, we were talking about this earlier. I'm just gonna show it. Oh, the boobies. Leaked photos. Really? I just caught that leaking. So we have some titty fans in the audience here. AOC lied again. Leaked photos. Look at it. Fake. Real big. Vote for the person with the real rack.
It's true. Mine is real. It's not impressive, but it's real.
Fake news. Real tits, real results.
Okay, so I have actual background. I thought about this a lot. I thought about this flyer a lot. Nothing I do is by accident, even though it seems completely insane.
I hope this wasn't by accident. How do you get titties by accident? That's crazy talk. Oh my God.
So basically, I just realized that people were like so apathetic, and depressed, and like,
fogged me up.
and then like it was hard to like pull people in to do something, and then people were like very slow to action. I was like, this isn't gonna work probably, so I'm just gonna have some fun with it. That was like my first thought. My second thought was like, to pull in some volunteers to actually do something, you might have to put something out there that's a little trashy so that it actually circulates. Because when it's very serious, people just, get overwhelmed and then they just don't share the thing. So I was just like, let's just put something trashy to get it out there, Dolly Parton style, That's what I was thinking. And then my third idea, the third reason I did this was because AOC has that thing where she gets very offended, by stuff like this. Because she likes to be offended and feminist and stuff, and like
the pearl clutching.
So I thought that there might be a chance that her or somebody on her campaign might be so offended that they would kind of boost me by sharing this and commenting on how horrible it is. Which
the Streisand effect, right? Yeah. Although I don't think Streisand had cans like that. That's nice though. That would draw my attention because I like boobies of all
like
sizes.
You remember the big booty moment, where it was like, oh, and then she made a whole thing about herself because she's, I felt like that was her weak spot, like her sense of dignity. And my sense of dignity is like,
Lucy's like, wait, where are all my fucks? Where are my oh, I have no fucks to give. I am so sorry. I'm out of fucks. I think the crowd here is they're still just like, wow, the titties. That was just I mean if you're going to draw attention, put a couple of sweater kittens out there, and you're gonna draw some attention at least. But I'm proud of you for doing that. I really am. Just trying to do something. Trying to put some sort of little, dent into what it is. I mean, I think the reason why she wins all the time is because not only you have the Democratic machine, you know, on the national level, that New York machine is a beast, right? So of course she's going to get local help from them as well, and you know, because she's Sandy, uh you know, that's how they sell her, that's how they brand her, you know, that's her brand. And now she could just do whatever she wants, they'll still vote for her
Well,
until another bartender comes along, a fake bartender, you know.
well, I feel like what they did with her on this round is actually pretty similar to what they did with Richie Torres last time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Richie Torres ran against this like evangelical guy, you know, and you know, they rolled him in and they were like, this is the gay black guy, vote for him. And people were like, oh, that evangelical Ruben Diaz or something, like, oh, you know, he's too conservative. So then people voted for Richie Torres because they were like, oh, we just want to get this guy out. And you know, Richie Torres ends up being a piece of shit. So it's kind of like a similar situation with AOC. Like they had her run against this Argentinian Zionist, which is actually funny because I'm Argentinian too. But anyway, they had her run against this Argentinian Zionist, and with like the charisma of like a pancake. And I think the idea was that they wanted her to win, because if they had wanted not somebody, you know, they would have backed somebody else and and put real money behind it, but they didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say follow the money, and usually the one with the most money usually wins. Right. And New York is nothing but money based anyway when it comes to that kind of stuff too. If you can afford it, you can pretty much do whatever you want there too. So, and that's sad because there are so many good people in New York. There's a lot of like your blue collar types. You have poor people, but you know, some of your middle class too that's struggling there, and a lot of them had to leave. You know, they're going to Jersey or they're going out to Long Island, which isn't much better. I mean, it's getting expensive out there too. So they're going upstate, or you know, God forbid they go to Staten Island. Really
a lot of people are moving to Staten Island.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
That's where all the cops live. It's like that conservative. It's like
not anymore. Things are changing because so many people are moving there.
Really?
And actually, yeah.
But I mean, like,
did you know that Staten Island has like more gangs than the Bronx now?
What, like police gangs?
No, gangs.
The gangs?
Yes.
Well, you got like around the Staten Island ferry there, you have like a lot of the Richies and stuff like that. But then as you get further into the island, when you take the Staten Island Railroad, as you go down, you start getting more and more like real ass people down there, right?
I mean, I feel like there's everything in Staten Island. Like I do think that there is like, okay, there's a stereotype and then there's the reality. There's some truth to the fact there are a lot of cops that live down there, but there's also cops that live here, you know. I think because like Staten Island feels a little more suburban and stuff compared to the rest of New York City. So sometimes people just like to live there because it's just a little bit more relaxed, you know? Yeah.
It's like I see a lot of the neighborhoods here in Chicago. It kind of reminds me of Staten Island. A lot of houses. You don't see hardly any like apartment buildings per se. Right. Everybody drives everywhere there. It's like they have buses and that train, but it's people mostly rely on their cars, right? Because they go into the Costco or wherever they're going to load up. Yeah, it's very, very middle class. And the reason I say there's a lot of cops there is because I actually, the girl I was dating at the time, her brother lived down there. So we would go down there a lot to, what was it? Great Kills. It was around that area. And that is like just
it used to be a dump. They have like crazy cancer rates over there.
Yeah, the landfill that they turned into a park down there. So but there's a lot there's a lot of he knew, her brother knew like a lot of the cops there, and you know, because I'm Whitey McCracker, you know, they kind of let us few of the trade secrets slip. And so and one of the problems with New York is that the cops don't live in the neighborhoods that they patrol. Right. They come from Long Island, or they come from Staten Island, or they come from wherever, and they don't know the people in those neighborhoods. And that's why you often see a lot of violence instead of and hardly any de-escalation. I mean, is that the same way in the Bronx there?
Yeah, in the Bronx, the cops are either from like the nicer parts of like more suburban parts of the Bronx. A lot of them live there. But I do feel like there's a lot of cops in the Bronx that are from the neighborhoods because they're trying to like diversify. It's just that they're still cops, you know. It's just like, but I'm not sure if it completely changes things because I do see different cops around. Like I see like in Queens, for example, in the Bengali neighborhood, I see Bengali cops. In the Bronx, I see black cops. Like I don't know. I feel like they've made an effort to diversify it.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not sure it's working because they're still beating the crap out of the college kids at those Palestine protests or whatever. So I don't know if it makes a difference. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, and as more of the poorer people move out, and then the gentrified people move in with the cash, yeah, they're gonna be nicer to them. That's for sure. You know, they're not gonna do stop and frisk on.
Or you know, like sometimes the cops they don't even sometimes. Yeah, the stop and frisk is one thing. And but the other thing is that like if something actually happens and you call the cops, they're like nowhere to be found. You know, when there's actually like something that they're needed for. I really,
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but
it really depends on the neighborhood too. Like if it's a richer neighborhood, they'll be there lickety split. If it's a poor neighborhood, yeah, you could light signal fires. Those fuckers ain't coming anytime soon. That's for sure. I just want to throw out one more thing before we get out of here. This was your website that you had. Very nice website, by the way.
Oh yeah, I still have the website. And I wanted to talk about one more thing quickly.
Sure.
I sent you a tweet, the last one, which I think is very important because I'm not doing this crazy shit again. So I think, yeah, like I think it could be good for the next crazy person that wants to embark upon this journey.
Hang on just a second. Let me get these ready here.
And there's an email from John Sfera of the Board of Elections, right?
Okay.
And it says, please be advised, pursuant to New York State election law and the Court of Appeals, the board is prohibited at this time from making the requested voted ballots available for public inspection. Oh,
really?
So they basically told me that I got 85 votes, but they wouldn't let me count them. So I have no idea what happened with this election. Like I have zero idea. And this is a recent thing that New York State did so that people would not read the ballots. And then I got mad. I was like, what kind of third world shit is this? This was like when they were like saying that the Venezuelan elections were fake. Is this supposed to be America or Venezuela? I demand a full auditable trail of all ballot images now. You're not supposed to be withholding electoral results from any candidate, including write-ins. Show me the law that prohibits you from revealing the ballot images. And they didn't. So, like, technically, you could sue over this. I'm not going to do it because I don't have the resources to do it. I don't want to.
Well, that's what they count on. They count on
that's
you
what they
not
count
having
on.
the resources. Because if you were doing write-in ballots, they know you ain't got no cash, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, that's so shit. It's like you try to have some sort of democracy where it's just like, you look, I can do a write-in thing. Let me do the write-in thing and let me count the ballots. No, we're not going to let you do it.
Yeah. So that's how it's going to, by the way, write-in, like if you were to run seriously, you would still have to do a write-in at this point because you have to force them to show you the ballot images because our elections are selections at this point. They just choose who they want.
Exactly.
So that was the idea of the write-in that you could force them to show you the ballots, and now they claim that they passed a law that prohibits them from doing it for 2 years, which they can't show me. They can't show me this law. Why? Probably because there's no fucking law. This guy, John Sfera, probably pulled this out of his ass. So
Yeah, he
that's
probably
what's
did.
going on in New York State.
Yeah, I mean, this was probably a straight up bluff, and he knew that you weren't going to call his bluff because you ain't got the cash to do it. There he is.
Right, exactly.
John's the fuckface. Yeah, that's his name. The fuckface, right? That's how you pronounce his last name? I'm not good with words.
John Sfera.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Well, Lucy,
He's just a support though. He's probably, his boss told him to just not answer any more emails from me. That's probably what happened.
yeah.
You know?
He blocked you. He blocked you on email. That's a thing. I didn't know. I know social media, but I didn't know they could do it on email too. Well, I'm sorry you didn't get. I'm sorry you didn't win. I think.
Oh no, I don't think I expected to. I just kind of expected to.
Well, I mean,
oh my God.
Let me ask you one last thing. What? Let's say all the stars aligned and everything happened. Let's say you did win. What would you have done?
Well, I think if I won, I would probably have encouraged other people to do the same thing.
Right.
You know?
But I mean, you'd have to go through the whole process of them, telling you how things really are. And that if you didn't fall in line, you'd get the Bernie Band-Aid on your head, if not worse, right? Don't they threaten you?
I think they threaten you. I think they threaten you.
Yeah. They threaten.
I don't know what I would have done. I think probably I would have been more like, okay, let's see what happens. Like, do they threaten you? Can I get a recorded message of how they threatened me? Like, I don't know. I would have considered it kind of like a journalistic experiment. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it would have been interesting to see. Yeah, at least to see what the process is, right? Granted, it's at the expense of the people who voted for you, but
yes.
But still, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's what you tell people. Say, hey, look, I want to win because I want to see what the fuck's going on in here. You put me in there, I will be your eyes and ears for real, right?
I think that's all you can really do as an individual person is be like, okay, what the fuck is going on here?
Right, because in order to get anything done, and this is the argument I had with Jill Stein. I'm like, what is she going to do if she wins? Right? You have to if you want to make meaningful laws, you have to get others to vote for those laws. And if they're all going to be against you off the bat, then you're not going to be able to do anything, right? But if you're going in as like on a fact finding mission and you're just like kind of doing recon for the people, that's not bad.
I think fact finding could be good, but I also I noticed from this, first of all, is that like people aren't really mobilized to do anything. I think I mean, it's very possible. Like I don't have much respect for Bernie at this point, but I do think that some people that run they kind of lose enthusiasm because it's like people are not really mobilized and they expect politicians to do things for them.
Right.
And if you run for something, you should be working your ass off, by the way, because otherwise you're disrespecting the people that supported you. But you can expect that people are going to have lines like, for example, if you run for office, I feel like you should expect, for example, that maybe at some point you might have to like leave the fucking country or something if you want to like be moral, so like prepare for that eventuality if you don't want to die like outright.
Yeah.
You might end up in Russia, like Edward Snowden. I like to travel, but like, a lot of things can happen.
Run for office, see the world, because you're going to have to.
You're going to have to see it. So I feel like, you have to be a flexible person. I have no children, so I felt like it would have been an okay time in my life to run without feeling like, I'm condemning my child to death or something. You don't know what's... Right. I feel like if you're going to run for office, I really am against like it's great if you have a family, whatever, but I feel like people are kind of hooked on personality, and I feel like the people that should run for office are people that are either old and bitter and have no fucks left, like, you know, they're on their last leg, like 78 years old or something.
Vote for me, because fuck you. That's why, you piece of shits.
But like when you see people actually running, it's like people that should not be running. Usually they're like lawyers that have like wives and children or something, and you know, they're like trying to please everybody. That doesn't work. Like it has to be like, okay, maybe you can be married, but like if you have children, do you have like a backup plan, safety plan, or like if you have parents, you know, people should think about these things. Like I feel like that's what makes a good candidate, is like how little fucks you have left to give, and like
today,
you know,
yes, yeah,
how
definitely.
much they can threaten you. Like
Yeah.
if they scare you to another country, is that going to like, you know, make you feel like desperate and in despair? Because you know that like that could happen to you if you really take a moral position, and if not, then you, I mean, what, you know, that guy Justin Amash from the Libertarian Party, and I don't like Libertarian Party, by the way, like they've completely lost me, but my ass, I'm too old for that crap. 63. And apparently he ran for office, he got it, he realized he couldn't do anything, and then he just quit because he realized he could do more not being in office than being in. I mean, I guess there's something to be said for that, but I also feel like people have to vote to try to get a third party in. Like I'm not completely non-electoral, because this is what I noticed, especially protesting all year, is that a lot of the people that are non-electoral, they'll try to, you know, form alliances with like different groups and plan events, you know, like plan events for people to go to. And then what happens? Somebody from the DSA or from the Libertarian Party shows up to your event that you put all your work into, and then they use your event for electoral politics. You might not be using those events for electoral politics, but somebody is.
That's why.
So, like,
that's why I put bugs. When I do events, I put bug spray around the perimeter, so I can keep the cockroaches out. But I tell you, you nailed it on the head. It's like when you try to do events and stuff like that. I'm one of these people. It's like our buddy Roger Meadows, right? He's right on. He's all about the state ballot initiatives, right? And I think those are great. I think that's the last bastion of real democracy.
Those are great, but
the
problem with those is that you need to get candidates in, at least in New York, because in Ohio they already have the ballot initiatives, but in New York, you need candidates that will support ballot initiatives, because we don't have ballot initiatives here.
Right.
You can't put them on the ballot.
And that's what he's been trying to work on too, right? But that's the thing. If you get it in other states, which you do have in other states, what those states need to be amplified so that we could. It's kind of like when they're trying to make weed legal, right? It became legal in one state, then it became legal in another state, and then it started to snowball, and then the next thing you know, everybody's token up.
Well, that's the other thing I had on my campaign, even though Roger Meadows, he's awesome, but his messages are way too long. But
yeah, they are.
But I was like, if I get in, Roger Meadows would have done all of the policy writing on all of the ballot initiatives, and he would have done all of that because that's like his hobby.
Yeah, he is all about. He is a policy wonk, as they say.
Yeah.
He is all about that policy life for sure. Well, Lucy, this has been a wonderful evening. Hi, I'm glad everything worked out. I'm glad you don't look like the Jesus candle anymore. Although it did give you like this air of like religious superiority, you know, with the.
I kind of liked it. I like the orb.
Well, like you can always go back. I mean, just take the book out, just flip the shit back up, and the next thing you know, back, you know, Jesus fish, the candle, Jesus whatever. You can get Jesus fish at the Jesus candle store too, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't seen one in a while, but so what? I mean, what do you? Okay. You're not online anymore, obviously, not on the Twitters
Nah.
at least, but you're still doing shows, right? You're still.
I was doing them. I was doing. I don't know. Once in a while, I'll do one. This is what I noticed about the shows. I was like, I don't have to become a big channel because channels that are bigger than me occasionally watch my show, and then they'll improve upon it or like put some of the points in their shows, and then it kind of gets out there. So you know, we can do a lot of things here, Uncle Warren. Like even as small channels, people don't realize.
I'm just gonna say it. This is
yeah.
what we can do. Titties all night long, folks. It's Friday night. 2 drink minimum.
Yeah. And Dolly Parton, by the way, is a very smart woman. I don't know if you've seen interviews with Dolly Parton. Like I really admire her.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's a very smart woman. She looks like a overblown Barbie doll, but she's a very smart woman.
Yeah, she's had a lot of work done too. She's not old.
She has had a lot of work done.
I mean, she still looks good, but she's getting up there. But she's incredibly smart. She started Dollywood. That makes like a ton of money every year. And she's politically smart too. You know, she knows what's going on. She's not some dumb bimbo or anything.
No, not at all. And I don't know. I thought about that and I was like, you know, I'd rather look like a dumb bimbo and not be a dumb bimbo than be a dumb bimbo and not look like a dumb bimbo, which is what AOC is trying to achieve at this point. You know, like I've just had it. You know, it's just the way I'm sure she thinks. You know, she's like very intelligent, but the way these people like are leading this country into a dark ditch at this point, and you know these people are weird. You know, like they laugh, you know, like Kamala Harris at odd moments. They have strange. I mean, I'm weird, but you know, I'm weird, but
you're not like what the fuck's wrong with you weird like these people like they're robots, like they're Stepford wives, right? It's this cult mentality, and it's scary as hell because they're the ones controlling things. We got to break people out of these cults, Lucy. We can do it.
People are breaking. I don't know. You know, like I think Trump had more people in the Bronx like than the Democratic rallies this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, I wish you could have got in and caused a real ruckus, unlike the.
Well, it's got to be you next time, you know, Warren. It has to be somebody. I'm telling you, that single, old, and no shits left. That's the way. That is what will drive people are trying too hard to like get a family man in there. That doesn't work because you know.
Yeah, but I don't have a rack. I don't have a nice, you know, set of chess puppies there, you know? What am I going to do? Stand on the corner with my pants around my ankles singing Old MacDonald? They were like, oh, I feel sorry for that crazy old bastard. I'll vote for him. You know, maybe that won't work.
Well, if you vote for only homeless people, like random homeless people, then you will be solving the homelessness problem one candidate at a time. That's it.
We do what we can, Lucy. Listen, I appreciate you coming on and bringing the titties with you. Always a delightful thing to see. Sweet memories, like the corners of my mind. And we'll do this again soon, okay? You know, maybe next time we'll fix it and we'll get the Jesus candle thing back, okay? I know you feel more comfortable with the holy light behind you. Yes, it's the warmth of Providence is what I call it. So, or you know, that's in Rhode Island. Wait, never mind. Lucy,
Providence, Rhode Island, yeah.
Well, okay, so you've got Blue Moon Red Wine, your show on YouTube whenever you feel like doing it, which is great. Anything else you got going on here in the future? You just in chill mode till you figure out something?
Nothing. I'm done. I'm done putting efforts in trying to change the world. Now I'm just going to work and coming back and looking at my birdhouse. That's it. I have a birdhouse.
Is that code?
That's what I'm doing.
Is that code for something? I'm not down with today's lingo. I'm still saying shit is whack and funky fresh too, but that's usually when I have my pants around my ankles on the corner. See, I go back to the corner all the time. Lucy, hang on just for a second. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and then we're going to get the fuck out of here, okay? Thank you so much for coming on, and we got to do this again next time.
right.
Again, hopefully soon before we have flying cars. All right, so hang tight. Let me say goodbye to everybody here. Thanks everybody on YouTube and Rockfin and Rumble. If you're lurking or you're hanging out, great chat going on this evening. Thank you so much. This was fun. I'm not quite sure when we're going to do ExtraBulla Live again. I'm trying to line up somebody, a special guest. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't want to say anything until if it does. And but we'll be back on Monday morning for morning extra. All your news that's fit to print. All the tits that's fit to print for you and yours. Now I can't get. I'm still looking at these tits. I'm still looking at the. I gotta get. Well, let me minimize this screen. Jesus Christ, I'm being distracted. All right, folks. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, everybody. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
We'll
Warren.
see you on Monday, you motherfuckers.